ईश्वराय नमः। ॐ यतः सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैव पशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदृश्यभू कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञात्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति शिखरा यस्मात् आनन्दशाम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। वेदोदधिं समुन्मथ्य ज्ञानरत्नं समुद्धृतं येन तस्मै वसिष्ठाय गुरवे नमः। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। योग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। We are discussing Yoga Vasishtha Nirvana Prakaran, second half and 79th chapter. It deals with the story of Golden Rock. Golden Rock story. We have been discussing it since long. While hearing the story, we have to understand the possibility, all the causes, how it is possible. There is a beautiful creation inside a rock, golden rock. It appears to be something impossible and unacceptable, but yet Vasishtha says it is possible and it was there. I saw it. So when one says, I have seen it, we have to agree. And how to agree? He gives all the possible causes which we have to accept, and these causes are the rules of the creation, and creation is by some power which is known as willpower and knowledge power and creative power. All these three in one are the root cause of the creation. This is what we have been discussing. And by the way, when Vasishtha ji having the dissolution time inside the rock, he came out of the rock. Came out of the rock means out of the creation, because it was about to dissolve. So from outside he could see the process of dissolution in that creation. He narrates all these to Ram, and when Ramji was hearing all these, so he was putting some questions which is common with every one of us. How it is possible, how it is so. So Vasidji explains all the rules and regulations and how it is. It was there, it was true. So all these we have been discussing, and now in the end when the creation started dissolving, there is a point to be discussed, which we have discussed. How is the body of Brahma, the creator? So we saw it is gross, and it is a whole totality which has got no end, no limit, limitless. And also by side we have seen the Brahma creator. His body is also smaller than the smallest, that means this subtlemost body. Both are in one, the grossmost and the subtlemost, both are in one, that is the body of Brahma. How it is possible? We have seen all these. This is possible when all these subtle objects in the course of time, space and conditions is repeated again and again, then the subtle becomes gross. And that's how the subtle becomes the center of the gross form. That is how the gross is creation, which is seen, which is observed by the senses, gross senses, and at the same time, the center of all these gross names and forms will be the subtlemost one center. That's how we saw Brahma's body is both ways, subtlemost and grossmost. And that's how the identity of Brahma is nothing but the atom of consciousness, because before the creation we saw there will be something which will be the cause for all the causes and effects. And that should be absolutely one without a second, which is ever present everywhere by all conditions, and which will be which will be limitless, permanent, and absolutely one, which should not have any comparison or any second to support. Nothing will be there, only absolute, which will be known as awareness, which knows itself by itself. That is the substratum for everything. And because it is purest, without any kind of spots in it, it will be most perfect, it will be most subtle, it will be ever present. All these qualities we have to see in it, but these qualities are not qualities because it is absolutely one. Qualities means it has to be seen by some other, which will be the second. Then all these rules will not be applicable in that. So now, if at all we see something, then it will be only some reflection of it or ideas within it which are not there, but yet it is seen. For that we have seen different examples are given for it. Just like the waves in water are not other than the water, and yet it appears in water without disturbing the existence of water. And reflections of a mirror within itself, that is also possible. So because the truth, the absolute is absolutely pure, transparent, perfect, so it can be reflected within itself. The example of crystal or mirror or lenses, we see it is possible. One will be reflected within itself, and that reflections will not be one but many. And in many we can have relationship, comparison, we can have transactions. That's how the creation is. Creation is nothing but only reflections. It has got no reality in it. But it is there, so we have to accept it. On that point, Vasishthaji was explaining Ram, and there are so many different schools of thoughts which contradict with each other, and there goes lot of arguments and proofs, etc. So Charvak is one of it. Charvak, the theories of Charvak is, it doesn't believe in something which is not seen by the senses, not observed by the senses. That means direct whatever is there before the senses, which is acceptable by the senses, that is there, that is true, and that they accept to be real, and whatever is not seen by these senses, that is not acceptable. This is their point of argument. Pratyaksha is accepted, paroksha is not accepted. Paroksha means indirect, which is not visible. So, there is argument, there is tug of war. They say the proof should be direct, and whatever is not observed by the senses, mind, we cannot accept it. But we have 6 types of proof, praman, 6 types, and Vedantis who have the idea of something which is not visible to the senses is visible to the not visible to the senses, so it is something which is experienced. Experience is different than seeing by the, observing by the senses. Senses are, they are subject to change, and they are limited by themselves and always changing, so they don't believe the observation which is by the senses better than or superior than the senses is called mind. Mind directs these senses, and then only senses can have contact with the sense objects, and then only they can have some information about the objects, but that is possible only by the mind which is superior than the senses and director of the senses. And mind also is nothing but a flow of thoughts. So it has got also a process. Process means the subtlemost becomes gross in the course of time, space, and conditions. So mind also is seen to be of four phases, 4 different types in different phases. So superior than, that means subtler than the mind, will be intellect. Intellect compares the objects and decides how it is, what it is, all these qualities. So, intellect is subtler than the mind, and it is the decisive part of the mind. And in that also, we have seen the superior than the intellect will be its more subtle stage, that is called discriminative power, which decides in the end what is permanent and what is impermanent, which is subject to perish, destruction, and which is not perishable, which is ever existing. Comparison between these two, which is done by the subtlemost intellect, which is named as a discriminative power. And in this process, there comes an ego, the identity as I and as the doer or the seer, and without that the intellect or discriminative power or mental power, nothing can work. The ego becomes the doer. I am seeing all these. I am all these. I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the senses, I am the observer of the sense objects. Everywhere I is there. Without this I, nothing is possible. And this I also, it cannot work without energy. It has to change every now and then to identify itself as the doer in all conditions. So the energy which we know as the prana, the vital energy, that prompts this ego, and then all other intellect, mind and senses, they can work, or else without prana, nothing can work. Everything stands still. So in this way, all this process goes on in a cooperative way, helping each other, and all the actions are done, and actions should always have reactions. This is what is seen in the creation. Everywhere we see every cause has some effect. That means the action will have reaction of it. So in this way, when we analyze the whole process, who is the original cause? Who prompts this prana to activate? What is prana? prana is nothing but energy, vital energy, and energy cannot be stable. It has to it has to be in a process. It should be always changing. The same energy goes on changing and takes different names. So we may say the prana itself becomes the ego, intellect, mind, and senses, and that is known as the ego. And who prompts this prana to activate? If it does not activate, then it will be stable. It cannot be called as energy. So, we have to find out what is the cause for prana to activate. So we have got the theory, karma, action. Whatever is done in the past, it should have a reaction, and these reactions are not possible for every action, because actions have different types of actions we see. Some actions are very intense, which gets its reaction then and there. And some actions are very mild, which yields its reaction in the course of long time, period of long time. So it doesn't have its reaction then and there. So time is a factor. And some actions are of medium class. That means it may react in a small period of time, or it may take long time also. This is what we have observed in the creation. So we have to take this formula to be true. Actions will have reactions, and all these actions are they wait to be reacted, and this means one becomes many. It results in many. So, starting will be in the beginning one, and then when it goes on reacting, it will be many. This is the process of the creation. And who is in the very beginning, who prompts the prana to activate? This is what we saw, karma. Karma, actions which are waiting to be reacted in the course of time. It prompts the prana to go on with the process. So, what is karma? Karma is a changing process. Again, when we see what is changing process, From this we see changing means becoming unstable or to be imbalanced. So from this we calculate the imbalanced state is possible in the balanced state. So this balanced state, which is known as the absolute truth, which is ever present, ever in balanced state, ever steady and ever existing, that will be the first cause to be imbalanced. And that imbalanced state is known as karma as well as prana and everything later on. Prana activates and it takes the name of different identities as ego, intellect or mind or senses or body, anything. So in this way we have to reach the absolute one, which will be cause for all these. But this absolute one, it should not have the second to be compared with. So in this state, that absolute one will not be perceived by all these changing process, because it is absolutely steady and absolute equilibrium state. So it cannot be observed by the changing process, so it is always invisible. From this point we have to agree to believe what is not seen by the senses. These Charvak people, they argue whatever is present, at present, which is visible to senses, that is acceptable as proof, which is beyond these senses or mind, we don't accept it. That is mental, imaginary. We cannot accept it. In this way, the argument goes on and everybody is stubborn to accept his own way of thinking and reject the others. So the tug of war goes on. Here we see, yesterday our discussion was on Charvak. Vasirji was explaining to Rama how Charvak people, they claim they say this person, the individual being, is able to be a doer and it gets the reaction of every actions. How it is possible? They say if two objects they get together, the third force is created by itself. So this prana, when all these five elements get together to make this body, then naturally the other force is seen, which is known as prana, or the action and reactions. In other words, we can say the life. Life is generated by this composition, by itself. So the being doesn't need any support of invisible present. Whatever it does here and now, and it gets its reactions here and now. So they say go on supporting this body in whatever you can, and there is no future, there is no past, nothing. So the argument was on this point. कल हम देख रहे थे अपने पूर्व जन्म के आत्मियों को पहचान कर उनके साथ बातचीत आदि कैसे करते हैं, अर्थात प्रदेशांतर में मरे हुए व्यक्तियों की पिशाच आदि देहता जो लोक में प्रसिद्ध है वह सिद्ध नहीं हो सकता है अगर तुम अनसीन को नहीं मानते हो। यह पिशाचादि की कल्पना भी भ्रांति ही है, क्योंकि पिशाचों की हमने अपनी आँखों के सामने उपस्थित हुआ आज तक नहीं देखा। The other party, opponent says, you have to believe what is not observed by the senses. That means what is not present. He gives the example. We see some spirits, they capture some persons and they react in a different way we see. So those spirits nobody has seen, but it is there. Will you accept it or not? Then Charvak people say, no, we don't accept it because all these are only thoughts, only acceptance which has got no reality. There is no spirit. Why? Then how these persons captured by the spirit behave in a different way? They say it is their own weak mind. Weak mind, sometimes when in high fever, they behave in this way. They talk nonsense because of some disease, terrific disease. Sannipat people, they shout meaninglessly because of some diseases. And this is nothing but weak mind, mental play. We don't believe all these spirits which were not seen by anyone. आँखों के सामने उपस्थित हुए आज तक नहीं देखा किसी ने, और हमारे मत में प्रत्यक्ष के सिवा और कोई दूसरा प्रमाण है ही नहीं. So we believe only direct proofs, pratyaks, which is directly seen. We don't believe indirect proofs.
They are practical people, Swami.
And they are practical. Yes, they are practical. But when we see our daily life of anyone, let him be ignorant, worldly man, or seekers, or the wise men who have realized the soul, self, everybody acts in a particular way. If we analyze our own lives, we believe everything without proof. Since our birth till the death, we believe everything which is not what we can say, which we don't argue, don't see. We accept everything without any proof. We believe everything without any argument. Suppose somebody told something in the first hand, you believe it. Whatever you hear first, you believe it. And when you you hear something by some other body afterwards, then comes argument. I heard like this, now it is something else. So which is correct, which is wrong? Then only we start arguing or believing or not believing. All these starts in the course of our observations. But in the first time, in the first hand, whatever we see, we hear, we see, we have our perception, we believe it, isn't it? Everyone believes with closed eyes. We don't want to argue and believe. Whole life we live in this way. See our name and our identities in other ways, the village name or father's name or mother's name or the personalities which we relate with. We have so many relations, and it is said in the first hand, we believe it. He is your brother. He is your elder brother. So I say, yes. I don't argue how he can be my elder brother. I have not seen him being born before me. How he can be elder to me. Does anybody argue like this? He is your father. Does anybody argue how he can be father? My father I don't see. I have not seen him producing me. How can he be my father? Huh? Your grandfather's name is like this. I believe, yes. He is my father, yes. He is your mother. Can a child, while taking birth, has he any sense to argue whether I am born from this lady or not? How can he believe?
But he recognizes the mother.
Yes, recommended, whatever is recommended, whatever we get from others, we believe it. There is no other go to argue. No choice, everything. Whatever is served to you in your plate to eat, do you argue whether it is edible or not? Do you take those food have to have analysis in the lab? Do you go? Whatever you eat, whatever you drink, whatever we do, and whatever we get from others, whatever others say, we believe it. Of course, if it is contradictory afterwards, some others say something against it, then only we go for argument. So if whole life we believe on everything, why can't you believe which is not seen? They give the example, bright example. Say the moon rises on a particular mountain top, and when we see the moon rising, we know, everybody knows it, that the moon cannot come out of the mountain. It is in the sky. Everybody knows, even a small child. And there is a distance between the mountain and the moon. In between mountain and the moon, there is a space which is not visible. But we believe it. Can you disbelieve? Even a small child believes it and agrees, yes, there is distance. In this way, there are so many other proofs. We believe everything without argument, which is not seen, which is not understood by, perceived by our senses. Eyes, ear, or nose, taste, or touch. We believe everything. Say, there is muddy water in Ganga. We have to believe there is rain on the upper region, or there is melting of snow because of heat, because of summer starting. Then only the clear water can be muddy. So the moment we see the water, dirty water, we imagine there is snow melting or there will be something, rains in upper region. We have to believe. This is called Anuman Praman.
वो Swamiji, smoke and fire.
Pardon? Yes, if we see somewhere smoke in the sky, though we don't see the fire, we have to take it for granted. There is some fire. Then only the smoke is visible. So many proofs are there. Without seeing anything, we have to believe. By it is called Anuman Praman gesture. We have to imagine, we have to accept something. There is some cause. Without cause, no effect we can see. So the Charvak people, they don't believe in these unseen objects or matters. प्रतीक्षा अतिरिक्त दूसरे प्रमाण, प्रत्यक्ष अतिरिक्त दूसरे प्रमाण की संभावना है ही नहीं, क्योंकि सैकड़ों बार पार्थिवत्व और लोह लेखत्वादि का सहचार ग्रह होने पर वज्रमणि आदि में व्यभिचार देखा गया है. They give some examples which are understood, which are taken for granted and which is not there. Say, they say there is a bird called क्या? Gandabhairav. There is a bird which remains in the sky and it has the nest in the sky and it lays eggs in the sky and the little ones come out of those eggs in the sky itself, and the moment they get out from the egg, they fly in the sky and they have their prey in the sky and they live whole life in the sky and they don't shout. And if somebody hears the sound of that bird, that means he is going to die. And if that bird shouts, then the whole creation, whole country or whole continent is going to be ended. That is what people say. So will you believe it or not? They say there is a beautiful lake in the sky and so many lotus and so many birds, they live in that lake and they are always in the sky. Will you believe it? Some things we don't believe and some things we believe. And what is not common to our senses, in that we believe. And what is called common to our senses means common things, which is repeated again and again, that becomes common for us. Whatever we have heard again and again, that becomes easy for us to believe. That becomes common. This is common to everyone. In this way, we believe everything and we come to argue in some matters which should not be. These Charvak people, they say whatever is seen, that is acceptable, which is not seen, we don't accept. There is no spirit which captures the weak-minded people, and we don't believe spirits. And if they behave, if the people behave uncommonly, some people say he is captured by the spirit, and we say it is his weak mind or diseased mind. That's how he behaves, not ordinarily. तो उत्पात आदि अन्य समय में गाय के पेट से गधे की उत्पत्ति भी देखी गई है तथा देवतादि की प्रतिमाओं से भी बिना अग्नि के भी धूम उठते दिखा गया है तथा सर्वत्र लिंगों में देशांतर और कालांतर में व्यभिचार शंका का निवारण नहीं किया जा सकता है। इसीलिए आपके अनुमान प्रमाण का तो बिल्कुल योग नहीं है। We cannot believe on unseen objects. अदृश्य के विषय में यत किंचित या पूर्ण यों विकल्प होने से उपमान प्रमाण की भी सिद्धि नहीं होती। उपमान प्रमाण, one is direct proof, other is imaginary proof, means gesture. And now he says the other proof is upaman. Upaman means examples. Examples we give to prove something. So those proofs, examples also are not acceptable, they say. Why? They give the reason for it. विकल्प होने से उपमान प्रमाणों की भी सिद्धि नहीं होती. Because these examples, they are not one, they will be different kinds of examples. Say, his face is like moon, beautiful like moon. This is an example of moon with the face. We can say moon, or we can say his face is just like a lotus, beautiful like a lotus. Other examples also we give. So there are so many examples, which is true, which is not. So because there are many examples, so we cannot accept it to be a proof. यों विकल्प होने से उपमान प्रमाण की भी सिद्धि नहीं होती, जिसके मूल में अन्य प्रमाण नहीं है। ऐसे शब्दों से लोक में अर्थ सिद्धि दृष्टिगोचर न होने से तथा समूल शब्दों के अनुवादक होने से शब्द प्रमाण का योग नहीं बैठता है। The proof we told now, there are 6 types of proof. So one is sound proof. Sound proof. If we hear some sound in the sky from the clouds, we have to agree the clouds are clashing against each other. That's how the sound is coming. So this sound, though we don't see anybody, we heard some cry from somewhere in the forest or somewhere, we don't see the person, but we hear the sound, then we have to agree somebody is there which is not seen. That also is not accepted by Charvak people. No, because we... Huh?
They go in the forest and there's a tiger making noise.
Yes.
Listen.
No.
Until it comes in front.
We don't believe. We don't believe in that. Why? Sabda Praman, because sound varies. It is not always right, always same. So it changes. So we cannot believe it. वो कह रहे हैं कि समूल शब्दों के अनुवादक होने से शब्द प्रमाण का भी योग नहीं बैठता है। अनुवादक, समूल शब्दों का अनुवादक होने, and the words have also different meanings. So many differences are seen. So we cannot believe any word proof or sound proof. इसी तरह अर्थापत्ति और अनुपलब्धि भी प्रमाण नहीं हो सकता है, which is not available directly or which is not agreeable by argument. We don't believe all these. किंच पिशाच ग्रस्त पुरुष का पिशाच बाग व्यवहार भी जब तक देह विद्यमान रहता है तभी तक देखा गया है, उसके मरण के बाद नहीं. The spirit captures a living being. If that being dies, the spirit gets out. So how can we agree that the spirit was there? So after death it is not seen, so we don't believe. जब तक देह विद्यमान रहता है तभी तक देखा गया है, उसके मरण के बाद नहीं. इसलिए उस देह को ही सन्निपातिक भ्रांति की तरह मैं पिशाचग्रस्त हूँ, यह व्यर्थ का भ्रांति है. दिस इज some assumption. These weak-minded people, they just think I am captured by some spirit. It is not there. यदि यह सब तुम कहो तो तुम्हारा यह सब कहना व्यर्थ ही है, क्योंकि तुम्हारी ही बातों से इन सब का खंडन हो जाता है. इसमें प्रबल कारण यह है प्रत्यक्ष के अतिरिक्त यदि सभी अप्रमाण है तो फिर चार्वाकों का वाक्य भी प्रमाण नहीं हो सकता है, क्योंकि वह भी प्रत्यक्ष के अतिरिक्त है। Now the opponent says, if you say the word proof is not acceptable, then whatever you say, how it can be a proof? How we can believe in it? So you condemn your own theories. Your theories are not accepted. क्योंकि अनुमान प्रमाण को तुम मानते नहीं हो, इसीलिए युक्ति से तुम अपने मत का तो कदापि समर्थ नहीं कर रहे हो, क्योंकि अनुमान रूप होने से वे युक्तियां भी प्रमाण नहीं दे सकते। दृष्टांत तो तुम दे ही नहीं सकते हो, क्योंकि सादृश्य के उपमान गम्य होने से वह तुम्हारे मत से प्रमाण के बाहर है, and you don't believe the examples as proof. You yourself don't believe, so you cannot give any example. All your theories are applicable for you also. इसी प्रकार सादृश्य के उपमान गम्य होने से वह तुम्हारे मत से प्रमाण के बाहर है। स्वपक्ष में अनुकूल और परपक्ष में प्रतिकूल तक भी तुम नहीं उपस्थित कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि तर्क के अन्वय व्यतिरेक व्याप्ति घटित होने के कारण उससे तुम स्वीकार नहीं कर सकते। आपत्ति और व्यतिरेक ये दोनों अनुपत्ति और अनुपलब्धि के अधीन रहते हैं, इसीलिए यदि इनका तुम स्वीकार करते हो तो तुम्हें अर्थापत्ति और अनुपलब्धि के प्रमाण रूप से स्वीकार करना अनिवार्य होगा। अतः ये जो 6 प्रमाण हैं वे सब के सब सत्य हैं। यह तुम चार्वाकों की मानना ही पड़ेगा। So the argument is going on. If you have this argument that whatever is not before us, we don't believe it, and words are not accepted, or examples are not accepted, and assumptions are also not accepted. Whatever is there before me, I can accept it. Other than that is not accepted. So in this way, when Charvak people argue, the opponent says, all these are applicable on you also. So whatever you say, whatever you believe, that is condemned. You have to accept all these 6 kinds of proofs, which are not always direct, they are indirect proofs.
They are all talking of the same elephant.
Huh?
These all opposing views, they are actually talking of one thing.
Yes. The example of elephant. Some blind people went to see the elephant. Elephant was there, but blind people, they tossed its body in different parts, and as they saw by touch, because they cannot see by eyes. Whatever they got by touch, they imagined the elephant to be like that. Some said it is just like a tree. Some said it is just like a pan. Some said it is just like a snake. And some said it is just like some fans. In this way, different people opined differently, and they could not believe others because they have not seen. So what we say, according to our analytical declarations, we have to see everything from all around, all sides. All sides. The all-round vision is to be accepted. One angle vision is always not accepted. You see somebody from backside, of course, you see something which is not negated. You have seen something, but that is not all. That is partial. If you see from your own angle of vision, that becomes your perception, which is not always true, not always full. Full data only you can get when you go around the object from all sides, from 10 directions. Then only we can have the all-round vision which is not contradictory to anyone. Whosoever sees something that is within your vision. अब फिर करें, ठीक है, ऐसे ही सही, इससे आपको क्या लाभ है, यह कह रहे हैं। इसी तरह यदि तुम शब्द आदि का प्रामाण्य मान लेते हो, तो फिर निर्दोष श्रुति को तुम्हें प्रमाण मानने में कोई आपत्ति न होगी। Now, condemning these Charvak theories, when the opponent says you have to believe all these proofs, then what will you get by this? No, if you believe all these proofs, then Shastra Praman also you have to accept. Means whatever is said in the scriptures, you have to accept it. Why? The scripture is not just written by someone. It is the experience given in words by the great seers who have experienced all these. These words are not of just simple imagination, but Apta Vakya. Apta means one who has realized the truth. They have declared in this way. Those declarations are collected in the scriptures, and you have to believe it, because it is experienced by someone. For example, if my father says me, I had been to Corbett Park and I saw beautiful tigers there, and they were not ferocious, they were just lying down, and we went on the elephant's back. We were sitting there, and when we saw those 2, 3 tigers, they were sleeping nicely. They looked at us, but they had no reactions. And we also enjoyed them nicely. We stood there for some time, took photograph. Should I believe it or not? Because he has told me who never can lie to me. He always, because he is my father, he will not cheat me. I have to believe on his words. If he says something which I have not seen, I have to believe it. Say, school teacher says something, so the students have to believe it, have to take it for granted. For example, once our Nitin, who is now managing our reception, he was a small boy who was staying with me, and he used to go to some private school where English is the medium. So he got some lessons and he was cramming by hearting some word meanings. So when I heard he was by hearting, reading loudly, this word has this meaning. I heard it, I said, Nitin, who told you about this word meaning? Now my teacher said it. I said, it is wrong. He doesn't know. This is not the meaning of this word, particular word. This is the meaning. I say, correct it. No, Swamiji, I don't believe you. I believe my teacher. Okay, I brought the dictionary and showed to him. See, this dictionary is proof for the meaning of the words. See this? No, I don't believe the dictionary also, because my teacher has said this. So I didn't argue with him. I didn't banged him. I said, okay, you believe him, but I am giving a letter just to show to your teacher. Okay, I gave the dictionary and a letter. In that particular page, I kept the letter and gave it to Nitin to show to his teacher. So the teacher saw it and replied me, Swamiji, sorry, I am not so well versed in English, but something I have to say to the students, and so please excuse me, I have rectified his misunderstanding. Then only when he comes, then only he believes. I asked, now will you believe? No, yes, because teacher has said. So see the faith, the student have to believe on the teacher. So much so, even if he says something wrong, we have to believe. Because he is a teacher. So if we don't believe our teachers, our elders, then our life will be a disaster. We cannot do anything. Without having faith on others, we cannot do anything. Faith is only weapon to destroy all our enemies. Only faith gives the clear view, or else without faith we cannot go even a step further in our life.
Swami, isn't blind faith also misleads us? Right?
Faith is blind always. They say it is blind faith. Faith works wonder. See, on the faith, if we discuss, faith is nothing but a mental process. A steady thought is known as faith, which never changes. That is called faith. So, according to Yoga Shastra, if one thought remains steady for a pretty long time, it takes a form. That is called miracle. Miracle is nothing but one thought which is steady and never changing. It manifests to be something. That is called faith. Faith is always blind.
Some logic has to be there behind faith.
No, logic will not help you till the end. Logic will help you in between. But in the end, you have to have faith. Say, for example, if you are going to Gangotri, Gangotri is your aim. You have to go to Gangotri. Now you have started from Uttarkashi towards Gangotri. You have started your journey. Now in between it is 100 kilometers. So in between, whatever places come, different places, different villages, different people you meet, and bifurcations you see, and everywhere you have to ask someone or other who is available there. Whatever they say, you have to believe it. Believe him. Say there is some two roads. If somebody is standing there, you have to ask which road is towards Gangotri and where this road goes. So whatever he says, you have to believe. There is no other go, because you don't know anything. When you don't know anything, you cannot claim that you know everything. Our mind, our knowledge is limited, and it is always by we get some information by our senses, mind, that is our knowledge, which is ever changing and ever increasing. So you are not all-knower. If you are all-knower, then you don't ask anything to anyone. Because you are ignorant, so you ask. When you ask somebody something, then if you don't believe him, there is no question of asking. And you don't know, that's how you are asking. Whatever you hear as your answer, are you not forced to believe that? Because you yourself is ignorant. So you have to believe whatever is given by the others. So now you cannot apply argument there. you cannot put some questions to that person. How you know it? Have you gone to Gangotri? How do you know this road leads to Gangotri?
Show me proof.
Can you show me, give me the proof? Can you ask like this? Because you have asked the question, that shows you are ignorant. You don't know it. And that's how you are bound to accept the answer, whatever he gives. In this way, when you reach Gangotri, of course, in between you may ask questions and get something, some information. Suppose you have reached Gangotri, but there is no signboard of Gangotri, or you don't know where you have reached. You ask somebody, what is the name of this place? Where is Gangotri? If somebody says, this is Gangotri where you are standing, you have reached Gangotri, will you disbelieve him? If you argue there, can you go to Gangotri? Argument is, of course, reliable, of course, is helpful. In some cases, not always. Faith is always acceptable. If you believe others, in the end, faith gives you to surrender to the master. Surrender is the last step in yoga, in our life. When you have failed to do something, then you have to surrender. Surrender achieves everything. And surrender is possible by faith only. And your incapability, accepting your weakness. Yes? कुछ बोलना?
It is right.
हाँ.
So Swamiji, we can we say that faith is a belief with personal experience? With experience.
Faith means acceptance of unseen. What we are discussing now. The Charbak people say, we don't believe, we don't accept what is not direct. We don't accept all these proofs. Say example proof, or word proof, or some assumptions, imaginations, all these we don't accept. Whatever is observed by our senses, that is accepted. That is direct proof. We don't agree to indirect proofs. That is what they say. But we have to believe, we have to accept indirect proofs. If the water is muddy here in Ganga, you have not seen the cause for it, then what is the way to prove why the water has become muddy? You have to imagine something which may be the cause for the dirtiness in water here. Either two things or three things may be possible. So one of the 2-3 possibilities. One is melting snow, other is rain in upper regions, and third may be some landslide. Other than this, nothing can be the cause for the water here to be dirty. So we have to, because you see, we have to believe others because our knowledge is informative and it is so limited. We are not the all-knower. We have to accept our limited knowledge. So every now and then we have to accept whatever is told by the others, whatever we get from others.
Swamiji, faith and hope, they are same or different?
No, faith is different than hope. Suppose you are going towards Gangotri. You ask somebody, how long is Gangotri from here? Somebody said something. Will you accept it or not? Another example I can give you, practical example. What really happened? Once Swami Chidananda Maharaj was staying in Kailas Ashram in Ujjaili, Uttarakanchi. And he was staying in the first floor, second floor. And I used to go every morning and stay with Swamiji, and evening I come back. So one day what happens, myself, Ram Sarupji and others were there with Swamiji, we are sitting there and discussing some things, and Swamiji saw something through the windows, backside. It is a slopy land and a beautiful garden. Some vegetable garden, some flowers are there. So Swamiji wanted to go to backside garden to see it. Swamiji got up, let us go and see how Umanand Swamiji, the manager of Kailas Ashram, how he has made this beautiful garden. Let us go and see. We came out of the room and we were searching some way in the same level, but we could not get. It is higher than the ground. So we were searching for a way towards backside. We didn't get any way. So suddenly we saw some boy standing on the ground. So I asked the boy, he was a student. I asked, oh my dear boy, do you know where is the way to go backside garden? Will you please guide us? He says, he stood there, looked at us. Yes, come down. He just said, small boy, he just said arrogantly, yes, I know, come down. When he orders us, come down, we are irritated. Small fellow, he is not respecting Swamiji. Hi? Are, I am asking you, where is the way to backside? I was talking in a raised voice. Then the boy also started talking loudly. I said, come down. Don't you hear me? Then I was irritated. But Swamiji, then and there, he started coming down to the staircases. And naturally, we have to follow Swamiji. And when we came down, the boy guided us, come on, come behind me. And in a small passage, he took us, and there, after some time, after a little away, he shows the path, go this way. So if we don't believe him, can we get our object? Swamiji taught us, if you ask, you have to believe. Whatever he says, small boy, we cannot argue with him. And if we argue, he will not show us the path. We will run away. So faith is the only weapon. Faith is the only way to get your aim.
But we don't ask genuinely, Swamiji. We ask just for the sake of asking. Many things are there. It's not that simple.
But in day-to-day life,
That is simple.
we accept when we ask anything. The answer we agree and accept. But with the God, we have problem. All the problems, all the complications start when we talk of God. Because it is a tedious job. Complications, so many complications.
Swamiji, we ask 2-3 people. If 2 out of 3 are saying the same thing, then we believe. This is okay.
Pardon?
Yeah.
We follow 2-3, this thing, best of 3. So we ask 3 people, where is Gangotri? If 2 people say this is Gangotri and one says this way, it means this is
Then, of course, we have to apply our reasoning power to whom to believe or whom not to believe. Of course, there you have to apply your intellect. Who is speaking the truth, who is guiding you rightly, and who is misleading you?
He may not be knowing also, we don't know.
Yes.
He may be saying it somewhere this way. We don't know this.
But the two can be mad. वो पागल खाने से छूट के आए हैं वो उधर
फिर 4 out of 5 करना पड़ेगा। बेंच ऑफ जूरी होता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कि 5 लोग बोल रहे हैं 3 लोग बोलेंगे तो सही है।
So this is how we have come to the conclusion that you have to believe what is not seen. वो कह रहे हैं क्योंकि इतना ये तुम्हारे जो प्रमाण सब मानना पड़ेगा तुमको। जब श्रुति प्रमाण है तब परलोक स्वर्ग नरक आदि सब सत्य है। इत्याकारक श्रुतिजन्य संबित भी क्यों न सत्यता को यानी प्रमाण को प्राप्त होगा। कहने का तात्पर्य यह है कि यदि अन्य के बोध के लिए शब्द प्रमाण है तो फिर परलोक स्वर्ग नरक तथा उनके प्रतिपादक श्रुति स्मृति आदि शब्द भी क्यों न सत्य प्रमाण होंगे, क्योंकि जितने ज्ञान है उनमें स्वतः प्रामाण्य है। इसमें तो किसी को भी विवाद नहीं है। हाँ, यह बात दूसरी है कि कारण दोष तथा बाधक ज्ञान से उसको कहीं पर अपवाद हो जाता है। जैसे अब यह बात किए 2-3 अगर हैं अलग अलग मत एक के ऊपर, तो वहाँ हमको बिलीव करना नहीं हो सकता है, हम वहाँ तर्क लगाना पड़ेगा। लेकिन यहाँ पर तो न कोई कारण में दोष है और न स्वर्ग नरक आदि नहीं है, ऐसा बाधक प्रमाण ज्ञान है। So we have to believe the scriptures, and whatever is given there as some unseen realms of existence which we don't know, which we don't see, but yet it will be there. We have to believe it, just as it is said, the heaven and hell and all those different levels of existence where the soul goes after death of this body, and subtler regions are there where different subtler bodies or beings they abide. So all these we have to accept. If we analyze our own selves and our own way of life, from this life also we have to learn a lot, how we lead our life, where to believe, where not to believe, where we apply our intellect or argument, and where we believe blindly without any argument. We learned a lot from our own life, from day-to-day life of everyone here. Nature is, of course, ever-changing, and nature is all in all, it manages everything. And so also nature is the greatest school for us. From every step we learn from the nature. Everything teaches us something. If you have a learning attitude, if you are ready to learn, then nature gives us all the secrets, all the knowledge we get from it. So we have an identity, paribhasa, definition of the world is told by the great people. World is a school. Every step we learn something. Here we have come to go on learning. The life is a school itself. Every moment we learn something new. So if we will be little analytical, little contemplative, then we see all the proofs, all the secrets, all the truths we get from nature, from day-to-day life of human beings, animals, birds, plant life, everywhere, everything is there to learn. So let us see tomorrow further how, of course, our discussions are based on only the dissolution of that creation, where the body of Brahma is to disappear. Then what will happen? What is the end? We shall see slowly. In between comes all these contradictions. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। योग वशिष्ठ जी भगवान की जय। हरि ओम।